In this lesson, I'm going to demonstrate how to adjust our images that we inserted in the previous lesson, and then take a look at how we can use them and specify certain places on our web page. So for instance, in the last lesson, we inserted the background image, image 1 and image 2. And then we also used, by going to our CSS file, and then created various selectors, right? So background image, and then some attributes and values, and then image 1 and image 2. But when we actually navigate to our site, we don't see our images. All we see is just text. So let's take a look at how we can adjust these images using CSS. So let's go to our code here, go to our main.css, and here our background image. Let's do some positioning here. So I'm going to use position and keep it relative and give it some padding, 0, margin 0, and then overflow. I'm going to keep it hidden. The image, my height. And working with CSS is easy once you get the hang of it, once you understand the styling that you would like to provide to your images. And then I have my background image already. Next, I'm going to use and work with my background. So I'm going to say background repeat. I'm going to set it to no repeat. And then my background size. And this I'm going to set it to 100%. And then maybe 600 pixels, or maybe even 700 pixels for now. And you can always test it, right? So once we create this style for our image and take a look at in our browser, we can adjust these settings. And then next, the position. I'm going to set it to, let's say, top center. And maybe do another attachment for this image to say it's fixed. And then close my curly braces. So here's various properties and then values that I've set for the background image. I can do the same thing for image 1, for instance. And here for image 1, I'm going to keep this position to be absolute. And then I'm going to specify some widths and heights as well. And this is going to be 100%. And then specify the height, for example. And this is going to be something like maybe 190 or 200 pixels. We can always take a look at this later as well. Or maybe even increase this height to, let's say, 350 for now. And then work with my background properties. Background image, for instance. But I already have it from last time. So let's get this up. And after my background image, I'm going to specify the repeat to say no repeat, and then the position, and specify those to be, let's say I want this to be displayed on the left bottom here. And then my size of the background, and this I'm going to leave it to auto, maybe 200 pixels. And then specify the top value to be negative 100 pixels. And these are your Z values that we can work with, and the left one would be negative 25 pixels. And then my curly braces is closed. And last one for image 2, I'm going to specify some properties and values quickly for image 2 as well. I can always, of course, copy it, right? So I can copy the image 1, a few values from the top, so I don't have to write them again and again, if assuming that they're the same positions, right? You can always change them depending upon your own need. So here I'm going to say position is absolute, width is 100%, and the height maybe is, I don't know, 190, for example. And then my background image is already here. Of course, I need to write the pixels, right? px, otherwise it's not going to work. And right after my background image, I have to have my repeat, position, and size, right? So I'm just going to copy it from my top here and paste it here. So background repeat to no repeat, and this is going to be in the left bottom because I want the images to stay together. And then the size of this is going to be, let's say, 50%, and then 200 pixels is fine. And then maybe some settings for the top, is 80%. And then finally, I'm going to give it a margin also. Okay, so maybe a top margin of negative 90%. All right, perfect. So I have my curly braces closed. So make sure everything is set. Let's save the main.css file. And let's go back to our site and test it out. Let's refresh. And we have a nice background, so that's good. Our text is moved to a position which is below, which is fine. I still don't see my images. Okay, so let's go back to our code and see what happened to our images. So image 1, image 2, and our back. So our background shows up, which is good. Absolute height. Okay, here we go. So we need some pixels, right? So 350 pixels for our height. Our path is correct, and also our spelling. Background repeat is okay. Background size auto. Top. And then left, we also need a semicolon here. See how many mistakes you get. And then for image 2, let's verify. Our position is absolute, width, and our height. Path is correct. Repeat. Position. Background size. Top. And then margin top is 90. Well, this can't be 90%. This needs to be pixels. Okay. All right, great. So let's save once we have identified a few errors here. Let's verify, go back to our site, reload. And good. So we have our images. Perfect. So our images are aligned okay. They're together, just like we wanted. And then our text is also displayed. Our menus are working fine, and we have our nav bar configured. So working with cascading style sheets is very powerful. Depending upon your own requirement, you can adjust the images or the background for your e-commerce site. So I hope this helps practice, and let's move to our next lesson.